Welcome back to our podcast From A to Franchisee. And today we are talking more about franchises in the food and beverage space of franchising. Today we're joined by Ernie Amorim, a multi-unit franchise owner in the food and beverage space. Ernie has spent years operating brick-and-mortar restaurants, building teams, managing the fast pace of restaurants, and learning what it's really like to run a successful food business day in and day out. The food industry can be exciting and rewarding, but it's also one of the most demanding sectors in franchising. From hiring and training staff to managing busy rushes and keeping operations running smoothly, there's a lot happening behind the scenes. I have some data that I'm going to start by sharing with our audience before we get into our conversation. Quick service restaurant franchises will account for $322 billion in economic output this year. That's up 5.4% compared with last year. From IFA's 2025 Franchising Economic Outlook, employment as fast food restaurants, which accounts for 45% of the franchise workforce, is expected to top 4 million this year, which is up 2.6%. And the number of fast food franchise establishments is expected to grow 2.2% to 204,366. So this is an industry that is not going anywhere. You have to pry people's pizza out of their hands. So today, Ernie's going to give us an inside look of what it's really like. And so we will talk about the realities of operating restaurants, the pace of his business, and the lessons that he's learned along the way. Ernie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me, Michelle.
I think the most interesting thing to start with is, what were you doing before you became a franchise owner?
Well, it's a little interesting. I grew up on a dairy, a family farm, and so from the time I was 8 years old, my parents had their own business, and I had just graduated from CSU Stanislaus in Turlock, and my fiance had mentioned that we had an opportunity to buy a pizza place in Gustine, where she had worked in a small little town outside of where I lived. And it happened to be a pizza factory. And
Oh.
I had always wanted to own a restaurant. So we tried Pizza Factory, and here we are today.
So first of all, my mother dated a dairy farming family all through
Oh,
high school, and I married into a dairy farm where this is a total random story, but we still live on the dairy farm land. The dairy is still in production. It's now part of the Cabot Collective.
oh,
But my husband and I own a brewery, and our spent grain goes back to the cows on that farm. So
oh, that's
I was
very
going to
awesome.
say, you probably went from the only thing that's harder than owning restaurants to something
Yes,
easier, because those cows, they need you day in and day out. That
yes,
is
yes.
insane. Okay. So how old were you, and it was your fiance at the time? How old were
We
you?
were 23
Okay. Oh
when we
my
first
gosh.
started Pizza Factory. Yeah, it
Oh my
was a
God.
year after we graduated.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's even less common then, so early to be able to buy a business. When you and your then fiance, now wife, decided to buy the restaurant, was it just kind of the goal of owning a restaurant and seeing what it was like, or did you have a bigger plan even from the start?
No, at the time at 23 years old, it's let's give this a try and see where it goes. We had no idea we were going to be this involved in restaurants down the line.
And so
So
you bought it from an existing franchise owner.
yes, an existing franchise owner.
Okay.
Yeah, it had
Uh,
been there for a while.
yeah. So why you said that your wife always wanted to own a pizza. Why pizza? Why was that kind of top of mind for you both?
Well, that's where we first went out to dinner was pizza, and then we've always just loved pizza, and I've always loved pizza, and so we just thought we'd start with pizza, but it wasn't actually because of pizza. It just happened to be the pizza factory ended up being for sale, and we thought it was a good opportunity to be.
Awesome.
And it was
Okay.
a small community, 5,000 people. Are like, hey, let's give it a shot.
So, okay, at 23, how are you financing buying a restaurant, a franchise? And can you go back and think about what it felt like? Did you have a lot of support from family and friends around you? How did you kind of learn
Yeah,
what
we
you
did have a
really
lot of support from my
wanted to
parents, and my parents pretty much helped us finance the restaurant, and then made a payment plan for us to pay them back,
do? Oh,
and that's how it started.
so they weren't on the franchise agreement. It was really up to you and your wife.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And what do you remember about starting? What do you remember about being the best parts of it or the hardest parts of it when you're that young, kind of jumping into an existing business?
Uh, the scariest part was just hoping that it was going to work because you ask your parents, you ask your family for some money, and then if something doesn't pan out, so just hoping that this new adventure that you have an idea of that you want to just not just try, but you want to do will work. So that was and making sure that it goes good. It goes good.
And now, how many restaurants do you own now?
Today we own, as of right now, 12.
What did building your empire look like? How long did you have the first before you decided to grow more? And are all of your restaurants with Pizza Factory, or do you have a mix?
We have a mix. We have our
Okay.
own brand, and then we also have Crumble Cookies.
Excellent. Okay,
Uh,
so you've got the dinner and the dessert covered, so we're
yeah.
good.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so take us through the 1 to 12. What was that like for you? When did you first go into the next restaurant that you purchased, and what version was that?
Yeah. And we still kind of maintain it now that my parents are retired, and I also have my brother, so we maintain it as a family business.
Excellent.
So yeah, it's a big family operation. Everybody's involved. Everybody has their part in it. My brother is involved also in the Pizza Factory and Crumble Cookies, and we started with Gustine with one store in 2005, and then we wanted to grow from there. But Gustine's a population of 5,000, so it was kind of small, and we needed to branch out. So Pizza Factory told us that there was another store for sale in Salinas, so we bought the Salinas store in 2008, and then in 2014 we grew to two stores because we had sold Gustine to a manager, and because it was kind of far to run from Salinas to Gustine.
That's what
So
I was
we
gonna ask
yeah.
you. When you went to 2, what was the distance or the time it took for you to get between those 2 locations?
Yeah, it's an hour and a half, so it was
Okay.
getting and sometimes a lot of traffic on a certain highway that we have to
Yeah.
take. So we ended up selling Gustine off, and then we opened a second one in Salinas, which did phenomenal. It's our best store as of today.
And I love that you sold the first store to a manager. I think
Yeah.
that we talk about this in a couple other episodes where it's kind of important to think about what your succession plan might be from the beginning. It can obviously change, but I
Yes.
think that's we see it more and more with the manager that either you're helping finance or they're kind of building up their equity in the business. It's a great way to have someone that has operating experience in your business take it over. So I love just kind of sharing that, calling that out from your first store.
Yeah. And as
Okay.
of today, he's still a franchisee, which is
He
nice.
is.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
It's
that.
great.
I love
Yeah.
that. You helped them get started.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Okay. So you owned 2 pizza factories as of
Yes.
2014. Then what happened? How did you continue growing?
Then we had an employee that he worked for us part-time, and he was a chef at a long time Italian restaurant, and he's always wanted to do his own thing. So we partnered up with him in doing our own store called Pasta Mia. It's it's in the mall, in the food court. It's kind of a fast casual pasta place. So
Okay.
we pretty much just do pastas, garlic bread, and salad. But we also have a dinner restaurant called Patria that's downtown Salinas, and he is the main chef there and also a business partner.
Okay.
And that restaurant does very well.
Okay, so now we're at 4 restaurants?
Now we're at 4, yeah.
Okay. And then how did you grow from there?
And then Crumble Cookies came into play. Well, during COVID, everything was shut down. We went back to our hometown to visit some people in Turlock. This was in 2020, where the first Crumble Cookie in California started. And we tried the cookies. It's really good. My brother actually tried it, and he brought them home, and it was a summer day, and he's all, "Oh, you got to try these cookies." And I was like, "Oh, okay, they're good." He's all, "Maybe we should look into this to the franchise." And I was like, "Okay, we do pizza and restaurants, desserts, cookies." He's all, "There's 14 people working in there." I was like, 14 people making cookies? So this is when Turlock was the only store in California, and everybody was coming to the Crumble Cookie craze. So he bought these cookies on a Tuesday, 14 people are working. So then the following week, I said, I'll go try them because we were in Turlock again. So I went in, tried it again. There's like 15, 16 people running around, customers in and out on a Wednesday. I'm like, a Wednesday? So from there, we're like, maybe we should get into this. So we submitted an inquiry for our Salinas all the way to San Jose area. And we did the interview process and all that. Aside from loving the cookies are phenomenal. Um, we were accepted to do a 5-store ADA.
Okay. So
And that was 2022. Yeah.
So an ADA for our listeners is an area developed agreement, which
Yes.
means that Ernie committed to opening 5 stores, whether that's
Yes.
him or other people, 5 stores in his territory over a scheduled period of time. So
Yes.
all 5 of those are now open?
Yes.
There we go. That's 14, right? No, that's
Yeah.
13. We're missing one.
Oh, because number 8 is opening next month.
Awesome. Okay,
Yeah,
there we
we're
go.
in, the
All
equipment's
right.
going in tomorrow.
So there's Ernie's journey of owning his food empire. So Ernie, when you look at all of your organization, how many employees are you employing right now? How many are you dealing with all these locations?
We have about a little over 200 employees.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what I want to kind of dig into a little bit in that when we talk to franchise owners specifically in food and even going to the COVID time where hiring and retention of staff in restaurants is very, very difficult. Do
Yes.
you feel like you have a good like you've done something with the culture, with how you're taking care of your employees? Is that still one of your top challenges, or how do you manage 200 people across all these organizations?
Yeah, well, we have people in place, like we have the shift leads that lead each store, and then we have for Crumbl, we have actually a pizza factory as well. We have area manager. So the shift leads are reporting to the area manager, and I do talk to the shift leads, and I talk to probably all the employees because I'm in and out of the stores a lot.
Yeah.
But basically, on stuff that has to get done the day to day, the shift leads are talking to the area manager, and then we're talking every day.
And do you feel like you have a good, retention rate with your employees? Do you think that I just feel like you have to really be intentional about the culture you're creating in order to allow
Yes.
you to scale and have this many businesses because moving a 200-person organization is
Yeah.
is very complex.
Yeah, it is,
Right.
it is, and I feel like we have a good culture. We don't have a lot of turnover. Our
That's great.
employees, they like to work for us. A lot of other franchises, like, how do you keep them? How do you keep them? Well, I mean, we do pay the $20. We're in California. We're paying the $20 an hour, which I think gives us a little bit of advantage. Um, but we also listen to our employees and what they need. You know, a lot of times things come up. I can give you an example from yesterday. You know, somebody's godfather passed away. You know, it's like, it's no problem. I can't come the next 2 days. You know, we get it covered. We find a way to make it happen, um, to whatever the employee needs. If we care about them, they're going to care about us. And I know it's like we try not to make it like it's just another person. It's not another person. I mean, we really need them. And I really feel that to make our stores great, we have to have great people. If we don't have great people, you're not going to have a great store.
Yeah,
So,
that is
yeah.
fantastic, and I think we're really trying to encourage, franchisees to think more about, or just being intentional in the culture they're creating because, it is such a difficult you can't grow if you don't
No, you
have,
cannot.
a
Yeah.
stable team. Which roles do you think were most important to get right from the beginning, as you decided to scale? What were those was it the area managers? Was it those shift leaders? What is a crucial role for you that it allows you the time to continue building new, opportunities?
At the time when we were smaller shift leads, because we were the area managers, like me and my brother can oversee a lot. But as we grew, the main person who's going to be checking in is very important. That person needs to be on board. And the people that we have now, being word that we're in 2026, have been with us for over the area managers have been with us for over 10 years. So
Okay.
that helps a lot.
Yeah.
You know,
Are there particular qualities that you're looking for when you hire that kind of will be a good fit to get their work done and allow you the space to do the higher level stuff that you need to do?
Yeah, well, when we hire, we're looking at as far as from a regular employee to all the way to the top. And number one of the best characters, number one characters is customer service. I mean, knowing how to interact with people because the food can be great, but if the customer service is off, they're just not coming back.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
find that you need to have an amazing product, but you need to have amazing customer service. Like
Yeah.
you want to, people need to feel welcome, like they want to come in.
Yeah, yeah. I grew up, waiting tables, and,
Okay.
I always look for that when I'm hiring. I think if you have worked in a restaurant, you can do customer service.
Yes, yes, you can. Yes, yes.
I love
Well,
it.
sometimes.
Yeah, 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 that's right. If you were a long-term employee in restaurant.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so food and beverage, just in general, is known as a really fast-paced environment. What does a typical day look like for you as far as in your leadership position? You mentioned you're still in the stores a lot. Take us
Yeah.
through what it's like, how you spend your time, across all your restaurants.
I'm just checking in every day with the employees, not with the employees, with the area managers. I, I live about my furthest store is probably an hour and right now about a little hour and 20 minutes, which is a Crumble cookie.
Mhm.
Um, I check in on the stores probably 4 times a week. So I'll be driving around to all of them, just seeing how things are going, asking employees how they're doing, how's the week, how are the cookies, how are the customers responding. But a lot of it every day I talk to to the general managers.
Yeah,
We
that's
talk
good.
every
So
day.
you're kinda getting from the front line, what's the read on the customers, on the products, so you're kind of going right to that front line, employee and understanding that.
Yeah, daily. Yeah, yeah.
What about are there any operational systems that you have in place that you feel like help you either, manage the business when you're in the restaurants or even when you're away from it? How are you looking at, or what are you looking at for the processes in those restaurants to know that things are running smoothly or when you might need to spend more time on them?
Yeah, on one side, which is our Crumble franchise, we have an app that pretty much tells us how many cookies are labor by the minute. So everything that's happening right now, we know exactly in every store. Whether how many hours of labor employees clocked in, how many cookies have gone out in the last hour. We know all that information.
Yeah,
So,
so and then
so those tools like that help a lot.
yeah, that's what do they give you any, opportunity to benchmark your performance against other stores or averages or things that help you kinda understand the performance of your store to others?
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah, like everybody in our area that's doing about what we're doing, we're in those categories, and it shows everything and how we're stacking up against them
Yeah, does that
in
help
terms
you
of labor.
Yes.
Yeah, especially in terms of labor, how many cookies we've sold, all that is being tracked.
Yeah,
It's
so,
nice to be able to know those numbers.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say, just to kinda understand where you fall into that, and then do you have the opportunity to reach out to people that are doing better than you as far as, like,
Yes.
percentage of labor? Okay, so
Oh, yeah, yeah, and
they
everybody's
they
pretty very accessible. Other
that's great.
franchises in our area are really good. Good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, how about in the early, either when you're opening or in those early months, what type of support did you get from your franchisor that really helped you kind of get things going and find your groove in that? And that could be from your experience at any of your brands.
Yeah, from the build out or just operating the store?
Both. I think
Yeah.
because your first one you bought was existing, I think going
Yeah,
through a build out is much different. So
it
just
is.
yeah, if you wanna talk about that, just how did the franchisor support you as far as getting your doors open and then kind of hitting the ground and getting things started once you did open?
Yeah, Crumbl, it pretty much was step by step because, every store is pretty much, well, no pun intended, it's a cookie cutter store. We're almost all the same, but so it's step by step. They have, from day one, they tell you exactly what needs to be done. Pizza factories are not exactly the same, but there's also help involved there in letting us know how we should do it, who we should contact. The hardest part in building a store is, your permits, the city and the county.
Yeah.
After you get through that, you're home free, but that's probably the hardest part is going through that.
Did the franchisor help you as far as picking your location or help you work through those permitting processes, or is that really something that's so unique to your county that you're doing that kinda solo?
Yeah, I did that probably. We had a little bit of help, but I also have a real estate agent that helps us in pick locations. But me and my brother have we're pretty good at picking a good location.
Yeah.
So we don't have any stores that are like, oh, we shouldn't have done this store. So
Yeah,
because of
so
the location.
if your franchisor doesn't help with that, there are outside real estate firms
Yes,
and
yes.
people that can help you because it is important to get that spot right to give your business the best success shot at success that you can have.
Yeah, especially if you live a little bit away from that location, you wanna have somebody who like, we had somebody who's been in the San Jose Bay Area for 30 years. So she was great in helping us.
Yeah.
Every location she's told us has been phenomenal, so
Yeah, that's a good point
mm,
too. If you're not super
mm.
familiar, like your town, you might know that great traffic spot, but other
Yes.
towns, yeah, going to the experts. I love it. Now that you've been in Pizza Factory for so long and then Crumble Cookie for a while, what is the type of support that you're still relying on the franchisor? That you've been through build outs, you've done that now. So what do you feel like is the benefit as far as how they support you or your team or what you're doing now that you've been in it for so long?
A lot of the support that we rely on, like, is marketing and innovation, like new products, a new pizza coming out, a new cookie coming out, a new type of dessert, a new drink is always helpful, and that's what we rely on the franchise to stay updated. so we can stay updated, and in front, along with everybody else that keeps pushing new stuff out.
Yeah. So
For
this is
example, like the dirty sodas is a big hit this year. Like they're coming out, coming out. So Crumbl now is coming out with dirty sodas.
I love it. So that I was going to
Mm.
give that example. So these are called limited time offers or
Yeah.
LTOs.
Yes. Or LTOs. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and they're a big part of a lot of business models because they give you that product that brings that person in. It's a limited time. So they got to get it before it goes. And then they're providing you the marketing to also push it out to your audience as well. So that's kind of just explaining that to people. Like that's why marketing is so crucial from your franchisor when you're in food, because a lot of these things are that urgency. They're driving that urgency of that customer getting into your location or repeat customers coming back. There's a reason to because they have a new flavor or they have a new product that you want.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
haven't had one of these dirty sodas yet. My daughter's obsessed with them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, we have little trucks that are popping up too. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah. I've seen those. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you said too, the franchisees that are kind of in your local-ish area too, that they're very accessible. So you guys
Yes.
are talking about your businesses or asking questions of each other. You're getting that support in the
We
businesses.
are. Yeah. On
Okay.
both sides, the Crumbl and Pizza Factory. I have some great franchisees around me for that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. And I think that's really important too, just knowing that you can reach out to them because they're running the same business as you in
Yeah.
similar
They're going through
market.
the same thing.
Yeah. So the other thing I want to talk about is it feels like to me a big part of owning restaurants is also you're probably heavily involved in your community because they're usually the ones that are kind of showing up. How important do you think that is to your business, or what kinds of things are you doing to make sure that you stay top of mind or you're supporting your local community?
Yeah, 100%. That's very, very important. Schools, for example, in Salinas, we're in every high school. So we'll sell pizzas to the high school, and they'll turn around and sell slices at their football games, volleyball games. So we're involved in every high school. We have banners at every high school. We do the sponsorship, so we'll put our banners out there. We do a lot of the fundraiser nights. Those are
Hmm.
phenomenal. So
Yeah.
where we'll do usually we schedule them on Wednesday nights so people can sign up online through Pizza Factory, and as many people that come in and mention mention the fundraiser or bring a flyer, will donate 25% back to that organization.
That's
And we
awesome.
do this every Wednesday. Our Wednesdays are pretty full, so
Yeah.
sometimes we'll even stretch it to like a Thursday or Tuesday if they really need it. Hey, we really need this fundraiser, so we'll help them out that way.
Yeah.
Um, we have another fundraiser we also do. It's a pizza card where there's the the student or the people selling the cards will sell them for $10. They'll make the whole profit. And in turn, there's like 10 coupons in there, a free pizza with the purchase of a pizza, or a free breadstick, or some wings or something like that, where the people that are buying the card for $10 will automatically save on their first sticker, and in turn makes a lot of money for that organization. But also in turn, we receive those hopefully 10 coupons back in as an additional, like a sale.
Yeah. A
So
repeat
uh,
customer.
a repeat customer. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's
Mm,
important just for franchise business owners to know, like you have to be very heavily supporting your local community to get that market share and
uh,
to build that loyalty. And there's a huge opportunity to do that. I think sometimes before getting into a franchise, you can think, oh, the franchisor is going to get all the customers, but like you said, you have to have a great team that takes care of them, that has great service,
yes,
that makes these people
yes,
want to come back to your location. So
yes, very important.
what do you find the best part of being a business owner is for you in your life?
What's rewarding the most is, well, you get to make your own schedule. But it is a very busy schedule.
Yeah.
You feel like you're the boss, but you can do whatever you want in a way, but you also have to be there for your stores. But also, what w- another thing that's rewarding is having great employees and seeing your employees grow. And sometimes we have employees, and for a year or two, 6 months, they'll leave, but there's a lot of them that feel bad when they leave. They're like, "Oh, I don't wanna leave," but it's like, "Well, you're doing something better." So I always tell them, "I have no problem if you're leaving and you're going to something better, but don't tell me you're leaving and you're going to the competitor. Because
Yeah.
what can we do to make it better for you here? I know they're offering you another dollar. How can we make it better? Is that the only reason?" Or, stuff like that. But most of the time when a lot of employees have left and then they come right back,
Yeah. That's
and whether
interesting.
they go try another field or whatever. But yeah, a lot of times when people are leaving us, they're not, they're excited to go to their new adventure, but they feel, they're a little sad that they're leaving our company. which
That's
is
great.
really nice to see because
It
it's like we're
really
doing
is.
something right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because how
Uh,
they leave your organization is how they'll talk about your organization, so it does
True.
make your
True.
next
Yeah.
hire
Yeah.
easier or harder depending on that story they're telling out in your community, so you always
Yeah.
want people to leave on a high note for the brand.
Yeah. We get a lot of applications every day.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
great.
Which is
That
nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's very
that's so
nice. Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Now how about the hardest part? What is the hardest part of your days or the hardest part of being a business owner?
The hardest part is making sure that everything goes good and that you're not gonna fail and you wanna continue success, on down times or down months, it can be a little stressful, you're worried, "Hey, is this gonna turn around? Are we gonna make it?" But it seems to always work out, but you just always have that in the back of your mind, "If this doesn't work, what am I gonna do?"
Yeah,
But it usually, so far for as long as we've been doing this, it works. The business has a lot of cycles, a lot of up cycles, a lot of down cycles too, but it seems to average out. So
that's great.
that's
Well, and I
probably the
think
hardest
that's
is worrying about
yeah, well, and
sustaining.
it's a good, something to be mindful for people that are thinking
Yes,
of getting into franchises. What is the seasonality of the business? And asking
right.
those questions of franchise owners to understand how you can prepare for those anticipated slower times. Sometimes you don't have control over it or don't know it's coming, but
Yeah,
seasonality you would.
yeah.
And I do remember coming out of COVID, all of the kind of restaurant wars of people just stealing employees for that extra dollar and
Right. Yes, that
yeah,
happened. Yeah,
so
yeah,
stressful, so I'm glad that you made it through that, but that was we heard about that a lot, just like I get that the dollar is really important for them, but it's so hard to train people and just keep that revolving
yeah.
door turning that you're just kinda spinning your wheels. It's hard.
Sometimes it might be worth to give up the dollar because if you
Yeah,
start thinking about the training of the next person and all that and the time, it's like, you know,
yeah, that's good advice.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what kind of person if you're thinking about a person that would do really well in a food franchise, what is that type of person? What traits do they have or personality or what do they really need to be willing to do to be successful as a restaurant owner?
Uh, Number one is probably customer service and being able to work with others. This is a people business, it's people, people, people all the time. That you're serving people, you're working with people, and a lot of patience.
Yeah, patience is a good
A lot
one.
of patience.
Yeah, you're probably working with a lot of younger people as well at
Yeah,
front
yeah,
line, so you
yeah.
gotta do some kind of mentoring as well.
Yes.
What do you think that they should really think about or do when they're researching a brand? Are there things you would recommend that they do, ask, or think about before they invest in a brand?
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely talk to other franchisees,
Mhm.
see how the brand is performing. Really research the brand, see the trends of the brand. Have they closed a lot of stores? Are they opening a lot of stores? Um, Are their stores refreshed? Is it a brand that's pretty old and every location you go to looks stale, looks old, they don't update? Because that could affect your brand. If there's a few stores around you and they're all look like they're still from, 2000 versus 2020
Yeah.
25, that can make a difference. You don't want to get into something that's stale or maybe the franchise or is not up to date or is just running like a run of the mill store, just going, 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 There's
Yeah,
no
I think
updates.
that's a good point because it is a big investment when your
It
franchisor
is.
comes to you and says, "We're gonna do this refresh," and it usually happens probably at least every 10 years, if not more
Yeah.
frequently, for franchisors or for franchisees, and typically it'll come up that you have to do it before you can re-sign, so if you're up for a renewal, they'll require you to do that, and it's a big investment, but I think you put it in a nice term that you're really protecting the brand when you're staying current. If you
Yep.
think about a pizza parlor from 1990 versus a pizza restaurant now, very different look.
Yes, 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 yes.
And it is important because you want that continuity of the brand and you don't want someone to discount your store and your location because they've been somewhere else that was really dated.
Right,
So
right.
that is a hard thing between franchisors and franchisees as far as getting everybody through that remodel schedule, but it is really important for the brand. And if the franchisor has done a great job, they're communicating to you the why this investment is being required. Sometimes they'll have financing options, the franchisor will. Other times it's completely on you and out of pocket,
Right.
and it's usually over a time schedule. So that is
Yeah.
something you should think about getting into a food. If they haven't refreshed recently, it's probably going to come up for you soon when you become an owner.
Yes, yes. And making sure that the franchisor cares about a refresh.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
if the franchisor is not making others do a refresh, you might have a nice brand new store, but sometimes people have perception of what the one in the next town over looks like, and then they don't
Yeah.
come in or yeah.
Yeah. Great
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Okay. We've covered a lot, Ernie. Is there anything else you feel like we haven't talked about that would be helpful for people thinking about becoming a food franchisee, or anything that you wish you'd known before you jumped in at 23?
Yes, wish I'd known in 23 is very young, and my parents didn't have any experience with with the type of restaurant or with any type of restaurant. If you were to buy an existing one, do some research. How much stores are going for? Talk to an accountant who does accounting for restaurants.
Hmm.
I just feel we paid a little too much for our very first store, so that's one of the biggest mistakes.
Yeah.
Um,
Great.
but going forward, well, today in today's world, I kind of know how much we should pay or shouldn't pay if we're buying it. We have bought existing stores. So, but yeah, do your research when buying an existing store. And then when building a store, get a few different quotes from a few different contractors. Don't go with the first one. It might seem like a good deal until it is a good deal when somebody gives you a better deal.
Yeah. That's good.
So,
Yeah. Always,
yeah.
always get a couple quotes so that
A couple quotes is always
yeah,
great, yeah.
that's
But
great.
buying an existing franchise, I would definitely run the numbers and speak to an accountant that has a background in restaurant accounting.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time today, Ernie. This was great. And I think people will learn a lot, and great to hear your story and all your success in restaurants.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I
Thank
appreciate it.
So, for our food sector report, I'll share some data from that, but that is something that you can get from our site where we share just more specific findings from food and beverage franchise owners. This year, we surveyed over 5,000 food franchisees across 60 brands, and we do share this list every year. Pizza Factory is on that list, so we definitely would love for you to go and check that out. From food franchisees, what they shared with us is 82% said that they enjoy being part of their franchise organization. And also 82% enjoy operating their franchise business. 78% respect their franchisor, and 78% said their fellow franchisees are supportive of each other. And then 3 out of 4 said that the franchisees are supportive of the brand. So it is a very engaged community. The 30 brands that rank the highest in owner satisfaction, those are on our top food franchises sector report, and they produce annual incomes of 25% higher on average. The top 10 highest income brands on our list produce annual incomes of 97% on average, higher on average. So there is a correlation of franchisee satisfaction and growth opportunity. So we really encourage you to check out all the brands that are sharing their reports on our site, and let us know if you have any questions as you dig in to potentially owning a food franchise. Thanks for joining us.